narrative is falling apart, and governments are losing grip, and the more and more people wake up to this is not good for them, man. So so you think you're going to go with the pandemic, internet pandemic?
Yeah, so when they just last week, I was trying to buy gas, and my BMO debit card and credit card wouldn't work. It's like, what the hell? The guy reboots his computer at the kiosk. Wouldn't work at the pump. Wouldn't work when I got to his place, like inside the actual kiosk. So I says, you know what? Here's $10. Give me $10 of fuel. And because credit card wouldn't work, debit card wouldn't work. It's like, what the heck? I've never had that issue happen before. But yeah, this internet, when they shut down the internet, if you can imagine what's going to happen. Suddenly there's no more debit card transactions, no more credit card transactions. People are going to be getting stuck. You're going to go to the grocery store, want to tap on their debit card to buy food. That ain't going to work. Trucking companies, again, same thing. Food distribution, Amazon. It's going to shut down pretty quick. It's going to be worse than, it'll be as bad as when they shut down the electrical grid got shut down. And was it last year when Rogers, the internet outages happened? Remember, for about 3 days? That's when
That was fantastic, because I had videos go viral once the internet went down. So it's a video about Canada. The internet goes down in Canada, but whatever videos I put up those days went to 100, 200,000 views, because I believe there's layers. Oh, it's Rufus.
It's Bubba the Airedale.
Oh.
Needs puppies in Southern Ontario. There's 8 of them 7 available. Her same mom and dad. This is a great dog. Can't say enough about her. Super friendly, a little mischievous, a little too smart. Good in the bush. Very good with families. Watchdog? Nah. Useless. She's too friendly. But it's a good dog. I like this dog. But yeah, what's coming? A lot of people. I was at an actual Christmas get-together this afternoon, and people that I haven't seen around the movement. There's about 4 or 5 of them there, and a lot of the people that are pushing these groups have kind of backed off a bit. Some have been dismantled. Some of the leaders were pushing some of these movements. Well, they're all prepping. And they're keeping it quiet. It says, you know, we haven't been around. It says, yeah, working away and getting ready for what's coming. So I think we're going to have a bunch of people that'll be ready for what's coming. But, man, the people that haven't got a clue, whoa, are they ever going to get sideswiped?
Again, the people that are going to get hit the hardest, Eduardo, are the people in condominiums, like in towers, in cities. Okay, you're in a condominium, but you're by a river or you're in a rural town or something. That's okay, because you can get out, get some fresh air. There's not going to be mobs everywhere. What are people going to do in big cities, buddy? Like, if the power goes down, you got no subway, you got no this, you got no that. You're finished. The elevators don't work. You're toast.
Yeah, big time. But not Bubba. She'll be doing okay because the freezer's full of dog food. She's got 6 months in there. So at least the dog will be happy.
Or she could eat intruders.
She can eat intruders. Yeah, I don't know if she would, though. She'd probably want to play with them first.
So
yeah, useless watchdog, but great in every other way, especially pushing deer and stuff. Pushing rabbits. And digging holes. She's pretty good at digging holes, too. So if I got to dig for water, maybe I'll get her to do that. Yeah, guys, make sure you got gas. Make sure you got some generators. Make sure you know how to reverse wire into your house. Keep your fridges so your food doesn't go bad. If you don't have, if you're on city water, I don't know, maybe you can put a pump that'll draw the water out of the supply line and push it up to the kitchen, but even that's only going to last maybe a day or 2.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because most of the systems are gravity fed, and the last couple feet. If you're at the lowest elevation of the city limits, you'll be getting some water, but it's only for a day or two. So make sure you know someone that's got a well. Make sure they got a generator, or at least a photovoltaic solar system, so that their water pump will work.
Yeah, at least a basic solar system. I have a decent solar system myself. It's nothing major, but it'll keep my fridges, my deep freezers going. It'll keep the stuff to charge, to recharge phones and radio equipment. And I think we're going to be going to ham radio if they pull this, if they keep pushing hard. They're going to do something, and it's going to affect the power grid or something. It's going to something's going to happen major, and our crumbling electronic or electrical infrastructure is going to backfire. We're going to be in a lot of trouble, Edwardo. We're going to be in a lot of trouble, and people don't even know.
Well, Trump was supposed to harden the U.S. power grid. I don't know if he ever got to it, but I know he was talking about it. I don't know if it happened or not. But here's another thing. Just-in-time inventory systems. A lot of parts, like for new car automotive, a week or two in stock, and that's it. The same thing applies to, I believe, transformers for substations and that.
Yeah, but finding parts are going to become an absolute nightmare. Yeah. And it's going to be an absolute... people will just walk away from cars and stuff because they just can't fix them. Right? Anything in the last 5 or 6 years, I think, is in trouble because you're finding parts or trying to get parts or trying to, just trying to live a basic lifestyle is going to be almost impossible.
Well, you got Mennonites that have been doing it for hundreds of years, right?
But they're trained. They're trained they're trained for that kind of. Look at Bubba. Bubba's getting aggressive with you there.
Yeah, it's I took her outside the city and she was playing with her brothers and sisters. Went to the breeder and figured after about 3 hours of running around with those guys. And now I came home, I fed her, and now she's got the zoomies. So she's telling me, come on, let's take the bike out. Let's go for a run for an hour.
Oh, wow.
So that's the thing with an aerial. You got to give them at least an hour of exercise. And you had already 3 hours today. Alone. And then you feed them. She just finished her moose. What did she have? She had moose spine for dinner tonight. Now she's got the zoomies. Yeah, this will last about a half hour. Knock it off. Yeah, so a lot of people are prepping, and I hope most of our listeners are prepping.
I hope so. We got the 100-man army here. I really hope so.
So what are you going to do when your neighbor comes knocking on the door? Say, hey, you got water?
I don't have a lot of neighbors. I just don't have. And a lot of my neighbors are prepped and ready to go too. A lot of them are ready. They've been working on their homes, putting up some solar, organizing, and yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
So just nice. Organizing and preparing. A lot of them are starting to wake up to the fact they've been had, that the wool's been pulled over their eyes, and they've been basically, a lot of people are waking up to the fact they've been duped. And the ones that, reconnect with their families and reconnect with loved ones and stuff that they cut off because they trusted the science are starting to reestablish speaking terms and coming together. Families are coming together. And that's really nice to see that, all you have to do is say, look, I was wrong, you were right, and that's it, and move on. And it's nothing more. There's nothing more to it, right?
Hey, even for the 2 weeks, I actually had a mask. I isolated for a week or two, gone on the internet and said, what the hell, is this real or not? And after about 2 weeks of research, said, no, this is BS.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people didn't take that, didn't go to the trouble of take a look at what's actually going on, and got played. Got to hand it to the government, though. These parasites really know how to play us like a fiddle, eh?
Yeah, they do.
And the same thing's going on right now when you look at all the Jewish propaganda. Well, not Jewish, but Zionist propaganda that's coming out of Israel. Remember they said, though, they're killing babies, they're raping women, they're shooting people at the kibbutz. Well, it was Israeli soldiers that were shooting their own people now. How interesting is that?
Well, they had to prop up the numbers. They had to prop up the atrocity. They had to prop up the propaganda, right? And that's very important. And I don't, to this day, a lot of platforms took down that video I made, how Hamas got played, right? To this day, it's still outlawed. Like, I tried to put it on Rumble. I was Rumble the other day. It just won't take, right? So there's a lot of angles that, because we have different perspectives on things, right? And if people just knew about the 39 weeks of ongoing protests in Israel against Netanyahu, the prime minister, who should be in jail, by the way, before all this, I'm saying he should have been in jail years ago. But still, you got Lula, president there of Brazil, down in Portuguese America, and that guy there is two-time convicted criminal in jail, right? So how do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it was the Crown Attorney that actually released him and gave him his freedom, right? So the courts were compromised in Brazil. That's how Lula was able to get out. And who knows who's been paid off and how much they've been paid off. Mm-hmm. But interesting, you haven't heard much about Brazil. You know what's going on down there?
Well, I know there's this big censorship thing that's going down, and they're passing 4 bills right now as we're speaking. And I was reading through some of them. And I do this purposely so I could keep up on my native language of Portuguese. And I was reading through it, and I'm like, wait, what? I go back to like section 17 and 24 of some of these bills. They're going to put people in jail for going against any of the narrative. And in Brazil, like, you know what they do to shoplifters? Most of the time they shoot them on sight in Brazil. Shoplifters, if they catch you, they shoot you on sight sometimes, the police. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's their constitution like? Is it any good?
I don't know. It's just like any other. It's just a couple of this and a couple of that, and you are free, and we love you, and God bless Brazil. But no, the Constitution is like very vague and transparent, and I haven't read the Brazilian Constitution now, since I was in high school was the last time I read it. But I could go back to it and see if there's any changes or whatever, because it's been over 20-something years, right? But down in Brazil, man, they're passing, I think it's 4 bills. And these are really hardcore censorship bills. I'm talking, Edwardo, you have no idea. Brazil will go dark. Brazil will be in pitch black in the next year or two. I'm not joking. It's going to be worse than Canada when it comes to, like, trying to get the word out.
Is it going to be worse than Venezuela?
Well, in Brazil, they have numbers. They have population. Canada has 40 million people. Bullshit. Brazil has a lot of people. And once they uprise, if you saw the Brazilian protests in 2019 and 2018 and 2017, the Brazilians get out there and they hit the pavement pretty hard, and they get out there, and they're different from the other the Spanish-speaking countries. They do things differently. Brazil, Portuguese-speaking country, does things a little bit differently. They have different settings. But I'm telling you, Edwardo, and I'm telling you again, there's 4 bills right now, censorship bills. Now, Rumble's blocked. Rumble is blocked in Brazil right now. And they're going for the throat there, buddy. So,
remember I was telling you guys about 4 or 5 months ago they're going to be switching to regionalization, and that's how they're going to be censoring us?
You did. You brought that up, but that was back in over the summer you told us that, right?
Okay, well, here you go. And .zil, that's like Internet 3.0. You cannot access it if you have an iPad or an iPhone.
Really?
Yeah, Apple's blocking that. If you got an Apple iPad or an Apple iPhone, you're not going to be getting access to a .zil network.
Interesting.
So a PC, yes. And if you got an Android phone, yes.
So are we talking parallel internets? Like parallel where I can't even go on to an American or can't look up American stuff because I'm stuck in Canada? Is that what you mean? Like rezoning or redistribution of...
The regionalization limits. Now, I forget. I think it's TCP. Oh, what's it called? There's a protocol. The DNS protocol where you got... every website is tied to a DNS number.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's how they shut off. Remember they shut off the internet in Russia about 4 or 5 years ago?
I remember that, yeah. That was back in, what, 2019?
Yeah, so that's with the DNS keys that they do that. So you type in a website, it goes to the DNS server, looks up, okay, this code of letters corresponds to this code of numbers, and boom, you go in.
Okay, Europe is hold on. I'm going to add to that. I'm going to add to what you said. Europe is passing the root certificate authority right now as we speak, and that is working with transport layered security, and that is what's going to form the digital ID.
Okay, I can see that happening. Now, you can get around that with onion routing.
Yeah. And you could create multiple fake root certificates. But here's the problem. They won't work for all browsers.
Correct. That's why if you got Opera browser running on a PC, or if you got Opera on your Android phone, I think there's one more step you have to take that allows you to get into the .zil networks. And that's going to be the only thing that's still going to be up, because it's not using TCP, it's not using DNS server keys or the DNS server codes. It's like a separate kind of internet. Runs down the same lines. I don't think they figured out how to block that yet.
Well, because a lot of the root certificates that they're using when they're managing this are bonded and audited, right? But if you go around that, I'm not kidding. You could do time in jail for that. That's like counterfeit. Like, they'll put you in prison. They'll stick you in prison. They don't care. They don't want to get out that they basically effed this all up, and they've been playing us this whole time, right? They'll do anything they can to put us away, or they'll find reasons to put us away, right?
Yeah. Speaking about the jail time, the Coots 4, I think it's 674 days already behind bars in remand, not in jail, but in remand.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys was, I think it was Chris Lysak, was up for a bail review hearing on Thursday, and it's not looking good for him. Because if they don't keep these guys in jail, if they don't find them guilty, there's no reason for declaring the Emergencies Act last year. So if anyone's thinking, oh, they may have done it or something, no, they didn't do it. They're political prisoners. They're easy targets. The courts are not as good as they are in Ontario. They don't have the same checks and balances that we have here in Ontario. And that's why these guys were picked up, and that's why they're sitting in remand. And everybody gets bail in Canada except these 4 guys. They done nothing. There's no victim. It's only bullshit allegations. So yeah, jail is looking real good for anyone criticizing the government, and it will happen.
Well, then when it gets to that point, if it happens, if they come and take me or any of us away, it's, well, for me, I'm speak for myself. Then it becomes pointless. Then after to come and take me away, then it's like the point. Once we lose the gift of the freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly, our freedom of the press, our freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and our freedom, our God-given right, then
freedom of thought,
everything. Then what? Then what's the point after? Like, it's
welcome to communism. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the what are they calling it? The basic income or something like that?
Universal basic income.
Yeah, that's coming in, and I think that's how Trudeau's going to win the next election. He's going to buy enough votes. He's
going to win, but he's going to be selected in the next election. The WEF can't lose Trudeau. The WEF, the Paris Agreement, and all the carbon shit, they can't lose Trudeau. Trudeau is a big player territory-wise. He's an idiot, but he's a big player territory-wise. Canada's got the oil.
Idiot and a puppet.
Yeah, Canada's got the oil, the metals. It's got gold. It's got everything. Whatever. Canada has it all within its own boundaries. And if they need to make trees for rubber, they could do it in indoor, greenhouse if they have to. Canada has the land, the resources to do anything it wants to do. But unfortunately, the WEF can't lose because Canada's a big player to the north of the United States.
Yeah,
and we are communist socialist here already, and now America's falling to that right now.
I don't know if we have bauxite in Canada, which is what you need to make aluminum. I think that's the only thing we don't have. Now, if anyone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to know. But as far as I know, Canada does not have bauxite.
Can it be made synthetically, like baby formula and stuff that come out of China? It's all like just baby formula and all kinds of stuff that they make synthetic.
Yeah, but do you really want to feed that to little kids?
Of course not. But I'm saying anything can be made in China. They could take used diapers and turn them into condoms. They could use used condoms and turn them into face masks. You know what I'm trying to say here, right? Yeah. So.
But bottom line is the derivatives. Nobody's ever talking about the derivatives ever, and derivative numbers are sky high.
Last time we spoke about the derivatives, they were at $1 quadrillion on the channel, and that was back in 2018. We made a derivatives coming home for Christmas, or was that channel? I can't remember what the video was, but it's up. Remember, I got 5,000 videos. So it's derivatives coming home to IOUs or something, or they're coming to roost or something. And yes, it was at $1 quadrillion back in 2017, 2018. What's it at now?
I have no idea, but I got a feeling it's way, way, way higher. I think it's around 7. I think last I heard was about 7 quadrillion. Last I heard.
Yeah.
But don't take my word for it, because I've been looking for it and I can't find that information anywhere. They're keeping it quiet.
You used to be able to find that, but now you're right. And that's why I kind of phased out on talking about the derivative markets, because you're not getting any proper guidelines or any tools to kind of gauge it anymore.
Yep. But UBI, guys, look out for UBI. That'll get him the win. Trudeau will get the win in Canada. You're going to have enough idiots. They're going to say, oh, the government's giving me free money. Of course I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, same thing like the CERB, and everyone has to pay it back now.
Yeah. But what they're going to do with UBI is everyone's going to get it, and they're going to think, oh, great. And it'll be great for a few months, and then hyperinflation? Oh, geez. What do you mean I'm not going to get more than $2,500 a month? That's only paying half my rent right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and every time I go to the food store, it's $1,000. So $2,500 doesn't go that far anymore. Now you are in a higher tax bracket all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making $30,000 a year, and then you make another, quick math, another $24,000 in UBI, that puts you up around $55,000.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you're paying 40% tax on your disposable income.
Yep. Corporate taxes are going to go up too. Corporate taxes are going to be out of control too.
Well, sure. They doubled our debt. Just the federal debt has doubled since Trudeau got into power.
Same thing. I think Biden and Obama together spent more in those administrations than all of America has in the history of its existence.
Meanwhile, the standard of living goes down. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, that's... Now, I'm older. You got maybe another 10, 15 years. Don't really care. But I feel sorry for the kids that are being growing up right now, my nieces and nephews. Standard of living will go down for them. And in North America, it was always getting better and better and better and better. Most of the Western world was, but for the last 10 years, it's getting worse.
2012 is when it started to kick. 2010. 2010 is when everything became more visible. Before 2010, there was a lot of backroom deals, a lot of Mickey Mousing going on, a lot of garbage, but they kept it at the higher levels. And these civil wars between the elites, old news, but still. But after 2010 is when it really started to become more visible.
I remember in 1983 when I first started working in the subdivisions. I was earning, $800,000 a week gross? And a new house on the outskirts of Scarborough, like a 2,400 square foot brick house on a semi-decent lot in the suburbs, was $135,000, and interest rates were sky high at 6%.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, he means, watching from the Commonwealth, he means Scarborough, Ontario, Canada, not Scarborough in England. There's a Scarborough too in English. Just so to clarify that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you think even back then, trades were able to buy a house and pay it off in 5 years. That was back in the early 80s. And then by the early 90s, that same house, I think, was selling for about $600,000. 10 years, the prices went up that much. And everyone's wondering, how can these prices keep going up? And the wages didn't go up that much.
Well, wages are not nowhere near in line with real estate, unless you're working for the government, right?
Yeah, and then they were talking, there's a lot of money coming in from offshore, a lot of Chinese buying up these houses.
Billions of dollars per province, billions per province.
So where are we now in 2023? Well, developable land. There's a shortage of that too now. You got sky high immigration. Next year we're supposed to get 1.5 million people immigrating to Canada. Where are we going to put them all?
Well, it's becoming a total joke. It's a slap in the face to the people that built this country. The European expansion that built this country in the first place is a smack in the face. And we built this country to raise our children. My dad, not me, but my dad built this country. My dad worked on a lot of big projects. My dad worked a lot of heavy, dangerous construction jobs. Okay, my dad built this country, and my kids are it's just there's no future. Like I said, my kids are going to graduate from high school and become homeless. Well, I'm not going to kick them out, but they'll become homeless because they just can't pick up and go somewhere else and live a normal life, work an average job, and just pay their way through life. You can't even do that anymore. Canada back in the 80s, all you needed was just a job and you'd get by. You know what I mean? But now, you can get a job bagging groceries at Food City and get by at minimum wage. But now you can't. You can't. You have to work 10 jobs just to buy food.
Well, what can I say? Get them into engineering or get them into one of the trades. The trades are still doing reasonably well. Sprinkler fitters are making, $51 an hour now? Mm-hmm. It's not bad money, and it's unionized. Mm-hmm. Elevator mechanics make the best money. Oh, the best. Well over $100,000, but it's tough to get in.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's you have to know people, you got to pull strings, you got to know people in the. But you know what? I don't know think in 10, 20, I don't even know what the landscape's going to look like in 30 years from now, to be honest with you. I think we're going to go back to that skyscraper dark ages I've been talking about for years now. That's skyscraper dark ages. People are going to look at these skyscrapers and wonder, wow, these people must have been gods. Look at these buildings. And there's just going to be skyscraper dark ages, Edwardo. What are you smoking there? Export, eh?
No, these are native cigarettes.
Okay.
Deerfield.
Yeah. What's the warning label on that one?
Another premature death. Experimental jabs are the leading preventable cause of premature death in Canada. About 100 people die from experimental jabs use each day. Mm-hmm. Actually, it says smoking, not experimental jabs, but that's what they should put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another YouTuber went down.
Who?
Another guy that was promoting I forget which. This guy was writing articles promoting the jabs.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. He passed away last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, early this week. Sorry, yeah, passed away days before Christmas. That's correct. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's just everything's gonna come, and as more and more people start waking up, they're just gonna have to start forgiving family. They're gonna have to start moving forward as a unit, a family unit. We need to restore the family unit. There's no way around this anymore. You need your family.
Yeah, and hope for the best. I was talking to another buddy of mine who lives up in the Bobcaygeon area.
Bobcaygeon, yeah.
That's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from, almost 2 hours from Toronto. The northern end of cottage country in the Kawarthas, north of Peterborough area. I don't know if that helps anyone. Anyways, he's got a mom that moved in with him a few years ago. She's what, 83 years old. She used to go play bingo every week, and she was doing this for the last years and years. She's only got 3 friends left. There used to be a couple dozen.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he was also saying, you know, walking around town, it's totally different. Before, you're always smiling, saying hello, good morning, good afternoon. Says people, they got that glazed look in their eye. You can see they're swollen. Everyone's limping. And the amount of people dying in these rural areas, it's catastrophic. He sees it up there, but then you come down to Toronto and you don't see it, or you don't hear it, or I don't know. Ambulances are not as busy as they used to be a few months ago. I've noticed that. I remember the ambulances going up and down Main Street here in Markham. Every 10, 15 minutes, at least you'd hear an ambulance going, or a fire truck. Now you hear them maybe once an hour.
It's still a lot.
It's still a lot, but it's getting better. For now. But we'll see what the flu brings this winter. But, yeah, things are going to change. But you guys are prepped. One more thing about water. You can... the sailors, when they used to come from Europe, North America, they used to throw silver coins in the water barrels to keep the water drinkable. So verticolloidal silver, they take some parts per million, but just a little bit of silver, and that's supposed to be really good for you to help you heal up and stuff.
Colloidal silver, did you know that Ronald Reagan used to import barrels of that into the White House when he was president?
No, I did not.
Look it up.
Well, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, so, you know, water supplies, colloidal silver will buy you a couple months' time, but can't go more than a week without water.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, so let's get ready for this internet outage and expect everything to fail.
All right, Eduardo.
It's going to be nasty. And hopefully everyone's rotating their fuel every couple months. And I also heard all fuel in Ontario now has got methanol in it, so that means its shelf life has gone down a lot, even premium.
Yeah, to half, right?
It's months, where it used to be 6 months if you bought premium that had no methanol, and then you could put fuel stabilizer and get almost another 6 months out of it. But I don't think you're even get you buy premium fuel now and you put in fuel stabilizer. I'd be surprised if it was still reasonable at 6 months of age. So you're gonna have to rotate whatever you got.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year. Guys, you're gonna need it.
All right.
Gold, silver, and lead, the 3 precious metals.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on, Mike in the Night. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you. We'll get you back on next year, okay, bud?
Or maybe sooner. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah, you never know.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, Mike. See you guys.
See ya. All right, folks. That is Eduardo on Mike in the Night here. Thank God he came on. I think Kevin J. Johnson messaged me, and where is he here? Lucy of Syracuse messaged me. Thank you for listening to you after wrapping presents. Have a great Christmas. You too. That's Lucy of Syracuse. Definitely. Yes. Who else? Yeah, Lenny Poo's here. Merry Christmas. And yeah, we got our usual suspects here on Mike in the Night tonight, and I appreciate everybody coming down for episode 539, and been going at this for a while now, and it's an absolute pleasure. It's a good life experience. I'm grateful for this. Grateful for all you guys. Grateful for meeting all you guys and interact with all you guys. And, yeah. So we got Rip Torn in the house, Mr. Nobody in the house, Mitch Mann in the house. Oh, yeah.